already did all that earlier. Luckily, or we'd have been in trouble
sometimes.
Hey.
Did you see him, Ian?
All right, do me a favor. First place, you post that link, put it in Discord so I can grab it from there.
Under show notes.
You can just put it in announcements.
Okay.
Save us a step. All right.
Are we live?
We are.
Oh, there it is.
We are live, and I need to bring up our restream chat so we can see what people are saying.
Share, copy link.
Because people have words.
Discord.
All right, there we go.
Announcements.
Oh, you're going to ask me to sign in? Of course you are.
Okay, it's in Discord.
Here we go. That should get us logged into our restream. And you post it over here in announcements, and we'll just share, and get it ready to go, and be ready to rock and the roll. No, I didn't mean to do that. Control, copy. Here we go. Let's pop it into, what do you say we pop it into the old Telegram? In the Unframe of Mind channel.
Sweet.
And I'll pop it over on Minds. And we've got, in the announcements, I've actually got a description already written up. Okay. There's that. Ta-da!
Doo-da.
All right, I believe we're just about ready to rock and the roll.
Oh, yeah.
See, if I was a smart boy, I would have already had all this brought up. But then again, having camera issues moments before the show went live presents its own special set of challenges. Oh, sorry, my foot was in the way.
I was going to say, what the hell am I hung up on?
My dick.
Oh, you kitty cat. That's a horny little cat.
Oh.
What are you having to do? Oh, for the
yeah, it wasn't logging in. Okay, now
okay.
we're logged in. Now we're good. Now
Amen.
we're gonna go live and shit, and that's what we're gonna do.
We already live.
We are live. Oh, we've been live this whole time.
Glad to see you. Yeah.
So, as you noticed,
What?
when you came to my house, my son comes to you and says, "Anthony, what did he say to you? Do you remember what he said, Anthony?"
No,
please,
I tend to ignore him a lot of the times.
He said, "Please don't let our cat outside."
Oh, yeah.
So
No, he said, what did I tell you about coming in through the back door?
Oh, well, he did say that too. To which I responded harder. But that's not the story I'm trying to tell. The story I'm trying to tell is where he said, "Anthony, please be careful not to let the cat out."
Right.
Because the kids have a kitten who is just now in her first
stage of heat.
Stage of heat, finally. And she's not doing so well with it. And
obviously, she climbed all the way up the damn door.
Oh, my God. We're sitting here trying to prepare for the show. And Anthony looks over and says, "Holy shit." So, of course, I had to get up and see what he's talking about. The cat has climbed to the top of my screen door.
Yeah. To the top.
On the
windows, to the floor.
On the non-screen side. How she did that, I don't know. It's not like she had the screen to grab.
Right.
She just climbed glass now. She's that horny. And all we've heard every night
is real dick.
That's all she's saying.
Dick.
It's like,
real dick.
I need dick. I need dick. And of course, there's a male cat that's prowling around outside, who's more than happy to provide it should the opportunity present itself.
Or arise, yeah.
Oh my God. And it's so annoying. In the middle of the night, she's at the doors, she's at the windows, she's calling all the neighborhood Toms. You would say, I'm pretty sure she's saying, "Tom, I need some dick in my Harry."
Oh, God.
All right, so let's begin.
Yeah. Kind of feel like this is a storybook hour, or this is a kind of a kids episode with, as you see, We are displaying a Dr. Seuss book amongst several others that we don't have on here.
We weren't supposed to mention the Nazi paraphernalia we have presented out in front of us.
Oops, my bad.
All right, so let's begin here.
Yeah.
Let's begin. So a member from hit band Mumford and Sons
Mumford.
on hiatus after accidentally whizzing on the electric fence of cancel culture.
Jesus Christ.
A man props his dead wife on the couch and
What?
has his kids open Christmas presents. A university professor speaks the unspeakable, and the New York Times tells you not to overthink things and gives you a brand new method for critical thinking. Laughable and terrifying, you'll be nervously giggling like a first-timer in a haunted house tonight on the Unframe of Mind show.
You're listening to the Unframe of Mind show, the place to have the most mind-stretching, unprotected, intellectual intercourse of your life. Your hosts battle the forces of evil by lobbing fiery balls of truth, reason, and evidence over safe room walls.
Up on the thing about the dead wife propped up.
Well, funny you should say that. I think we're going to go ahead and head off the story with that first before we hit our Phobismus segment. And y'all stick around for Phobismus tonight because I'm pretty sure I'm going to hell for tonight's Phobismus.
Dude, you're like more than halfway there already. I think with this one, you're just going to bust down the gates of hell and say, hey, I'm here.
You already read it, so you kind of know where this one's going, huh?
Yeah. I like it when you don't tell me the stories. You don't tell me the Phobismus because I like that genuine reaction that either one of us get when we don't share things. That's one of the reasons
Maybe
why
we should
people
not
like
prepare the show
so.
together. We should just prepare
No,
separately.
at all. Well, and that's what I tell folks
Two completely separate shows that we prepare for, and then we just try to merge them together as we on the run.
Well, that's what I tell people before they watch the show, or if they have before in the past. And I tell people I don't know the topics until like maybe 15, 20 minutes before the show because I just, to me, I'll find myself starting to research it, and then the reaction doesn't seem as genuine. I mean, it's still there, but it's not something you would totally expect when you just don't know anything about it. So this is one of them, obviously.
Starting off with our first story of the evening, a man propped slain wife on couch, then had kids open Christmas gifts in front of body, prosecutors say. Persecutors?
Wow. This was 2 days ago, but it's happened back on Christmas?
Yeah, this is when the article came out. So prosecutors say a California man allegedly killed his wife and propped her up on Christmas morning for their kids to open gifts in front of her body. The Orange County Register, Mercury News, and the Associated Press report. William Wallace of Anaheim, California, was charged in the 2011 killing of his wife, Zella Preston, 26, which allegedly occurred during a violent argument on Christmas Eve that year. This was back in 2011, and we're just now reading the story. What is going on? But
I wonder if it just... Yeah, that's kind of weird.
Apparently, his trial just took that long. I don't know. So according to the Orange County Register, during his trial on Monday, prosecutors...
You're having a hard time with that word.
Persecutors is different than prosecutors.
I don't want to ever hear you give me shit about pronouncing words.
It's still going to happen.
I know it
It's
is.
still going to happen, just like you're giving me shit right now.
Yeah, right.
So on Christmas morning, Wallace placed Preston's body on the sofa with sunglasses on and proceeded to have kids open gifts. Prosecutors also alleged that Wallace told their children, "Mommy got drunk and ruined Christmas." What the fuck?
Wow.
At the time, Wallace's two daughters were 8 and 3 years old. The couple also shared a 7-week-old newborn.
Wow.
Oh, so the couple, the 8 and the 3-year-old were his daughters, and they had a 7-week-old baby. Preston was studying to become a domestic violence counselor at the time. Oh boy, I didn't catch that line first read through on this article. That's ironic.
Wow.
So, as for what happened on Christmas Eve, Wallace's attorneys claimed his client was quote unquote being accused of something that is not his fault. Mm-hmm. That Preston got drunk and fell on a glass table, hitting her head. The Mercury News reports. Witnesses painted an alleged picture of repeated violent behavior from Wallace, 39, toward Preston. Relatives of Preston also allegedly told investigators Wallace had threatened to kill his wife before. Quote, "This Christmas story does not have a happy ending, and unfortunately,
Obviously.
this is not just a story, it is real life." Meanwhile, Wallace's defense attorney, Heather Moorhead, told jurors, "You will hear about a relationship that was full of arguing, yelling, but also a lot of love." Okay. So Brown and Moorhead did not respond to people's requests for comment. Wallace has been in jail since he was arrested Christmas Day 2011 in lieu of a $1 million bail. He faces first-degree murder charges. So apparently, wow, I'm just sitting here wondering.
Taking this long?
Yeah. First thing I'm thinking is, I didn't realize that, is you've got a court system that's supposedly supposed to, grant you a speedy and fair trial, isn't it? I don't know that 10
not.
years in jail constitutes speedy. Of course, then again,
They'll knock that off as sentence.
Yeah, at the rate that governments operate, then 10 years is probably pretty fast.
Yeah.
Excuse me. But all I'm thinking is, the guy was trying to be a stand-up gentleman. He didn't want, yes, he's got a bad relationship with his kids.
Propped up kind of guy?
Sorry, yeah. He's got a bad relationship with his girl, apparently, allegedly. But, he's still got a kind enough heart that he didn't want to ruin Christmas for the kids.
That is just so morbid, man. That's like, I'm really painting this picture in my mental capacity of what this would look like.
Yeah.
Like he's scrambling around the house to throw maybe some clothes on her and just kind of sitting her up, and then she'll slouch over and he's having a proper back up.
A little Weekend at Bernie's kind of thing going on here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, sunglasses and all, man.
An 8-year-old kid, how would you...
So I guess when mom's sitting there, mouth agape, sunglasses on in the house, just laying there. I mean, if you're 8 and you're 3 years old, I guess you could buy that mommy's drunk. Sure. I guess maybe mommy has a history of being drunk, so it was plausible to them. I don't know.
But the fact of what she was going to school for is kind of troubling, that she would even stay in a relationship
I thought it was saying he was going.
Oh, he was going.
For that.
Oh, I thought it said she was. Okay, I got you.
No, maybe you might be right. William Wallace was the guy accused, and Preston. Okay, so it was her.
Yeah.
Yes, you got that right. Preston was studying to become a domestic violence counselor.
So how do you go to studying domestic violence, but yet continuously put yourself through domestic violence? That doesn't.
Well, think about this. You want to study domestic violence. What better way to do it than to be right up front and close to it? Unfortunately, she got a little too close to the sun, and the sun melted her little wings, and she fell to the earth. Poor girl, man. I can't even imagine though. That's like.
And those kids too, man. That's like. Because at some point later on in their life, they're going to find out about this.
Yeah.
They're going to find out that on Christmas morning, mom was passed away, and propped up on the...
and every single Christmas from that point forward is going to be a memory of, what happened to mommy. And
that's just
dad's
mind-blowing.
Story. Like, the fact that it's taken 10 years, though, for this to, like...
So that means that the 8-year-old is now 18.
Right.
And how old was the other one? 3?
3. So that'd be 13.
13, and then a 7-month-old. So now they're 7. So
7-week-old, yeah.
Or 7-week-old.
Yeah.
So the 18-year-old, this is still a relevant story. So the 18-year-old has to know this is what had happened. Yeah. So,
gosh, I read that and I'm like,
that's difficult.
Like, are you serious? Like, okay, well, let's say his story was true. Just on its face, let's say his story was true. That she fell and hit her head on the table.
Then you call an ambulance.
It's like, yeah, I'm sitting there. Like, the first thing you do is call for help.
You're not like standing over the person. You're like, all right, bitch, get up. Quit playing dead.
Yeah.
Oh, that was not good. I shouldn't have said that. Wow.
So
okay. I don't even know how to follow up to that.
You want to read a book?
Yeah.
Let's probably not do that.
No. Oh, man.
You know what I forgot to do? No.
What's that?
It's fine. Hey,
okay.
So tell me about these potato head things. You got them for...
Yeah, so I just turned 40 last Friday. We didn't have a live show, which in some sense was probably good. But yeah, so if you've been keeping up with the recent times and you haven't been living under a rock, you obviously know that, the company Hasbro has been trying to, remove the Mr. off of Mr. Potato Head. And of course now, Dr. Seuss, 6 books were completely removed, inciting, racial stereotypes and things of that nature. So yeah, we wanted to decorate the studio with a little bit of Nazi memorabilia, I guess you can call it, or so that's what we have. But we will have an unpacking of both Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head that have not been opened, that I'm aware of. I don't know, these were gifts. I can't tell. They look like they've been tampered with.
I don't know, probably. They probably got bugs in them from the FBI or something.
I wonder how much they're worth now.
You think like the CIA has some bugs in there, just trying to record our conversations?
No, I don't.
I as a general rule, I don't keep mics anywhere near me for people to be able to record what I'm saying. That would be... Anyway, so what do you say we do for business?
Please.
For business.
For business.
For business.
That was just.
You say that every
was
time.
Bad. What's that?
Phobismus. You say it. You say
I
it
like
with
that. I got a deep voice. I got to use it.
Yeah,
You know,
good, yeah.
I'm in the bed and be like,
all right. So
ladies.
today on the Phobismist, we want to explain to you why bald eagles are rather problematic and need to be removed from all consciousness.
Oh dear Lord.
And as I said before, a phobismist, persona aside, I'm probably gonna go to hell for this. So just bear with me.
Write me when you get there.
I will write you, assuming I am allowed to write. I am left-handed, so in the days of old,
I'm
probably
left-handed as well.
I probably would have gone to hell. I keep forgetting that.
Yeah,
we're
we
both
both are.
left-handed. Weird.
With some southpaws,
All right,
man.
so today on the Phobismist, we're going to explain to you why bald eagles are hugely offensive. Now,
I'm slouching. I know.
bald eagles are offensive
Getting comfortable,
to a
man.
specific demographic of the population, and that demographic
Bald white people.
close. Cancer patients.
Ooh.
Cancer patients.
Oh,
Bald
dude.
eagles are offensive to cancer patients. Cancer patients find birds in general to be problematic for their ability to soar high up above in the open skies. It's a feat that nobody with cancer has ever been able to actually achieve. Now, the reason the bald eagle...
You're going to hell. This is going to get bad.
The
Keep
reason
going.
bald eagles are exceptionally offensive, over and above your common wren or hummingbird or what have you, is that the United States continues to boast the bald eagle as their national bird, an ironic symbol of strength, freedom, and immortality. As it turns out, cancer patients are rather weak and most certainly aren't immortal.
You're listening to the Unframe of Mind show.
And we're back.
Good night, folks.
That's probably all I had.
We had a good 5-year run.
Yep.
Good night.
Yep, definitely going to
See you
hell
on the
for
flip
that.
side.
Jeremy joins us in the chats. Senor Poopy Pants. You have not seen my Poopy
Senor
Pants. I promise
Poopy
you that.
Pants.
I promise you that. So what do you say we roll right on into the next topic? If I could figure out where my mouse pointer went, that would be great.
Sure.
All right, so the next topic. We've got this video. I don't know if you've seen this. Out of Georgetown Law.
Nope.
Lady was caught on camera saying some rather racist things.
Ruh-roh.
Yeah, on a Zoom call. Georgetown law professor caught complaining about black students. Number 4. Here we go.
Well, you can complain about a demographic or a race of people. How does that make you racist?
Well, we're about to find out. So, Georgetown law students blast university response to professor's racist quote, racist video. So let's see what she said.
Say this, I end up having this.
Sorry.
And you know what? I hate to say this. I end up having this, angst every semester that a lot of my lower ones are blacks.
Woo! So we're gonna. I don't need to see all this. That's not the video that I thought I was playing, but you get the gist of it.
I want to hear the actual video.
Yeah, I'm gonna
just
have
let it play.
to go.
Just let it play.
Well, I mean, it's not good for audio. It's just all text, and I'm not reading all that. So basically, that's. Let me go find it real quick. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts so far?
Well, I mean, you can talk about anybody of any ethnic background. Doesn't mean that you're a racist. Now, if you're inciting that, well, they're black and they're stupid, they're dumb, and you're kind of going off in a direction to where you're saying some pretty incredulous things that are racist. That's one thing. But, sometimes when you base things off of facts, it doesn't make you a racist. So if she's talking about, and I haven't seen this before, so I don't know really what all was said.
All right, so this will play the full thing. It looks like it's 43 seconds long, 1 million views.
Okay.
I think I got the right one.
They were a bit jumbled.
Yeah.
It's the best way I can put it. It's like, okay, let me reason through that, what you just said, kind of thing. Yeah, right. Unfortunately. And you know what? I hate to say this. I end up having this, angst every semester that a lot of my lower ones are blacks. Happens almost every semester. And it's like, oh, come on. Get some really good ones, but there are also usually some that are just plain at the bottom. It drives me crazy. So I feel bad. They were a
There you go.
bit-
We're missing some context here. That's the problem. This does. I don't. Now, in my opinion,
Yeah, that's the most full clip I've seen that's gone around so far. I mean,
what was the discussion about, though? I guess is my question. Like, what was she talking about? Was she talking about grades?
I believe so.
Just the academic level
right,
of
right.
blacks versus whites,
Or just
Asians,
versus
Hispanics,
the rest of her
or
students, I would
just-
guess. I mean, this gets back into the IQ shit that we've talked about from time to time, but it's like, yeah, that's not that surprising, honestly.
But where is the racial mentality here? Like, what is she saying that's so racist?
It's just the fact that she said the word blacks and she's a white lady and says the lower ones are blacks, and it's just hearing the phrase is enough to set people off and not have them actually start to think critically about, okay, what does she mean by that? What's been her lived experience? But everybody wants to automatically jump on the bandwagon of hearing something that sounds somewhat negative and just decide, well, we're just going to go ahead and just lambaste this poor lady for being a racist.
So what if? Okay, let's reverse the roles a little bit here.
Well, before we reverse the roles, I do want to point out there was something when as she's saying that, the gentleman over there kind of nodded once or twice,
Like he was agreeing.
like he was agreeing
to-
with it. Now, he's getting in trouble too. He's been suspended, and they're calling for his head too, just because he nodded. And I don't know about you, but have you ever been sitting there listening to somebody saying something like totally absurd, like you don't even know how to respond, so
You're
just
not really
like,
paying attention, so you're
so
just kind of nodding your
like,
head. And you're like, yeah.
I mean, maybe you are paying attention, and you're just like, yeah, okay, I guess I'm not going to try to argue with you, but sure, if it'll get you, it could have been something as simple as that, but people see that. It kind of reminds me of the Nicholas Sandman thing a long time ago, where people just see it and they automatically
That knee-jerk reaction.
feel like they've made up their minds.
Yeah.
They have their lenses on that they're going to look at it through, and there is no other. You're not going to be able to tell them any different. Period.
I need to see more of this video to understand what the conversation was kind of detailed.
Yeah, that would be nice to see. Unfortunately, everybody just post the same 43 seconds over.
And I can
over
only
again.
imagine what's being said on Twitter. That's where, yeah, that's where things go to die.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
I just
I
don't-
retweeted
I mean-
a couple of them because I was like, okay, this is ridiculous.
Now,
the
had
way
this
people are
been
talking.
said about white people, I can only imagine like nothing would have been said, nothing would have been done. No administration would have called for their dismissal or, for them to step down or resign or whatever. So
Yeah, the school says it's investigating 1,000+ students. Alumni are demanding an audit of her past grades. So rather than think, okay, maybe there is a disparity in intelligence. Every time it's brought up, everybody.
But she clearly
like,
said that there's
jumps
not,
all over him
it's
and-
not all black people. She's like, she even said, I have some good ones.
Right. Right.
So she's calling out, like, I mean, maybe is it because she just blatantly said it was black people? Is that what they're going after here? It's just the fact that she mentioned race.
Yes, yeah, I think just the fact that she mentioned race, or she
Well,
said blacks.
okay, so let's play devil's advocate here. So
Okay.
if she would have worded this in such a way where she said, "Well, I have some students,"
Yeah.
do you think she should have gone that route?
Well, the fact that she said at the very beginning of that, or roughly before she actually started to say it, is, well, I hate to say this, but it's like, I feel bad about it. And she said that at the end too. I feel bad about it. I don't, I don't know what to do about that. It's kind of what I
Well,
took
why
it
would
as.
you why would you hate to say this? So then why would you go ahead and say it?
Because she knows how it would be viewed in the context of, and it got leaked. It's supposed to be a private Zoom call.
That's my point.
She
I mean,
knows what it would
she
look
knew,
like.
yeah.
Yeah, she knew what it would look like in the context of today's cancel culture. So, yeah. Okay, so Silly Redhead, she says, that's kind of silly. Teachers and admins talk about demographics all the time. It's how we can target deficits and give help.
Yeah.
That makes sense to me.
Hmm.
And honestly, if the reaction is, oh, well, we need to get this lady fired, and we need to have a full audit of all the test scores that have gone on in the past, then is that giving any agency to the black students in her class that maybe didn't do so well? Like, there's no, it's almost like saying, oh, well, you guys are clearly I don't know how I'm trying to frame this a little differently here, but it's like anytime anybody of a certain color says something about a certain other color, automatically it's racist until proven otherwise.
Not unless you're
guilty.
white. If you
That's what I'm
mention, if a black person mentions white people, it's not racist.
Yeah. Well, if you're
a
white,
white person mentions black people, or even not, I mean, it's not as bad when he mentioned Hispanics, but yeah, I mean, you're still kind of called a racist. But I think it's funny that we're in this current society that we're in right now, that the atmosphere is that if you're white, you need to shut up and sit down because you don't know what you're talking about when it comes to black people. But unfortunately, when it comes to academics, like what she had said in the comments, is that sometimes you have to do that, and that's based off statistics. It's just nothing more than that. It's not about race. It just so happens to be that certain demographic of people that are kind of struggling.
They're already struggling with this issue in terms of, we've got too many Asian kids, so we have to change the enrollment procedures to make it so that, because we're getting too many Asian kids. And guess what? Asians tend to be more intelligent than whites. Yeah. So you're going to, as a general rule, you're going to end up having more of them that are going to do well in college.
Mm-hmm. They usually do.
That's not a problem.
No.
That should
just
be
the
fine.
way it is.
So as a result, because they want to keep denying facts, these other races are just going to continue to be treated with kid gloves, and they're not going to strive to do better.
Anything that has a negative connotation to black people, it's automatically shunned on. It's you can't say that. It's not right. We're equal. Well, actually, you're not. And to be honest with you, that also falls in the same category as white people. Yeah. There's a lot of white people that are not as intelligent. I mean, could she have mentioned this without pointing out the specific race? Yes. Did she do that? No. Is there more context to this whole conversation that's missing to better understand the situation? I believe that there is. Are we defending the woman? No. We're trying to better understand how we get to this point. And because we got to this point, okay, well, why do we feel such a way? And there's probably a good chance that people are going to come into the comment section, well, you're white and you don't understand what it's like. And I'm like, okay, well, if I don't understand what it's like, then please explain to me how you could have perceived this situation without the full context of the conversation.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you're basing your information off a 43-second video. We saw what happened with Nick Sandman when that exact same situation happened. And then when more videos started to come out, we were like, uh-oh.
Yeah, basically. So basically, this lady should just be another, next in a line of many examples.
So what happens when we stop pointing out the statistics of a demographic of people that clearly are not up to par? Like, how do you help educate the black community to becoming more of a higher statistic of being a little bit more intelligent if you can't even point that out and you're told to shut up and sit down?
Yeah. Well, you're also the black community is also being told that it's quote unquote acting white to get good grades in school. So, yeah, I mean, you're basically damning an entire segment of the population to constantly be on welfare, basically, because at some point that's about all you can do is try to give them free money to help them.
Welfare doesn't apply to any one demographic. It just so happens to be that it's geared more towards black community, the black community. But for me, this is
it's not so much per race; it's more per IQ level.
No, it's per race.
On as far as the distribution of welfare benefits?
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, they broke up the black, the homes back before the 50s and 60s. Mm-hmm. Back then the black community was thriving. They were doing quite well.
Yeah.
They had a single unit, or they had a family, what is the word I'm looking for? They didn't have a single family home, meaning that, it was just either the mom or the dad raising the children. They had a whole family unit. Now that's been broken up. And
the nuclear family.
Yes, thank you. Nuclear family. So now you have a situation to where, because this has been such a problem over the years, that a lot of people that are now in the black community are relying on government assistance to provide for them, because either the mom or the dad is no longer in the picture. So I don't know, man. I mean, it's just like, we're obviously going to talk about it. School teachers and apparently other people can't do this, but we're going to keep talking about race when it comes to statistics, and because that conversation needs to happen. And it's not
you
to look down on a population of people because of their skin color. This is just pointing out facts. And people need to quit getting so butthurt thinking that we're going after your race. It's not your race in particular. It's just we want to see the black community thrive. But in order to get to that point, you have to address some things that are currently going on. And if you're not willing to do that, and you're just going to stagnate that population to thinking, okay, well, leave us alone because we don't need to be told by Whitey that, we're not as smart as white people. Well, no, it's not saying you're not as smart as white people. It's just right now we want to help you guys out to get a better education.
You can't solve the problem if you keep ignoring the,
you have to.
The root causes here.
At some point, the black community is just. I mean, there's a lot of people that do, but then there's a lot of people that don't. But in general, the black community is going to have to finally just say they're going to have to accept this. That there's some parts of their culture or their race that needs improvement just as much as there is for Hispanics or white people or Asians or whoever it might be. I mean, we're all in a work in progress. But to sit here and shun people down for even mentioning something like this is not. I don't know. I just don't like that.
Or to get all indignant when somebody mentions something that might be somewhat construed as negative towards your race.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like a situation where they don't want white people telling black people what to do or what's going on in their society.
Yeah.
Black people want to be the ones responsible for that. Hey, by all means, if you want to do that, then go ahead. I have no problem with that. But at least for me on this show, we're still going to talk about it, so. Right
on. So, let me see, where were we here? Lost my spot. Oh, did you guys hear about the, Oh, yeah, did you hear about the insurrection on federal building of domestic terrorists wanting to destroy the United States the other day?
Huh?
Yeah, there was. Isn't that what they called the people on January 6th?
Oh, for fuck's sake! Why have we not moved on from that?
No, we have. Just bear with me, but that
they still have this fucking fence up around the Capitol, they're just impending doom of this apocalypse that's going to happen at the Capitol. Yes, I'm like, no, everybody went back to work. Everybody doesn't give a shit anymore. Quit striking fear into the general public because ain't nothing going to happen. Sorry.
Yeah. So did you guys hear about the insurrection on a federal building of domestic terrorists wanting to destroy the United States?
No.
No? Oh.
I should have just let it know that.
Yeah, probably should have.
Yeah.
So rioters set fire to federal courthouse in Portland.
Oh, well, yeah, it is
one
Portland.
day after fencing removed.
Let me guess who did it. Antifa.
You damn Skippy.
Yep.
So, from Yahoo News, the most reliable news source on the internet, rioters targeted the federal courthouse in Portland, Oregon on Thursday evening in renewed clashes between demonstrators and federal police. The attack on the courthouse came one day after authorities removed fencing initially erected over the summer in response to continued riots following the death of George Floyd. Footage showed the rioters attempting to force their way into the courthouse while chanting "F the United States." Later in the evening, rioters set a fire outside the courthouse entrance. Yeah. Now, I do remember on January 6th, while we were out there at the Capitol building, setting fires in front of the doors. That was a thing we did. I definitely remember that.
Yeah, you were there.
Yeah. So federal police from the Department of Homeland Security clashed with rioters and attempted to force them away from the building. Guess I could pause that, huh?
Yes, thank you.
Sorry. Let's see. Now, where's the mainstream coverage of this?
Dude,
Did you guys know this shit's still going? Did you know this shit's still going on?
I follow it only because we're obviously members of the Proud Boys, but I follow it because I see what's going on in Telegram as far as the certain channels that I follow. So, God, this has been going on for the last couple of years.
It never stopped.
It never stops.
And the media coverage stopped.
Yes.
Which made it seem like it stopped, but it never stopped.
They want to talk about January 6th. They want to talk about a stimulus package. They want to talk about the president's dogs biting people, but they don't want to talk about what's going on in Portland.
That's hilarious.
Think about that. There's legit articles and postings on not only Fox but CNN, MSNBC, NBC there's an article about his dogs not behaving themselves.
Oh, they
at
wrote
the White
a
House
long time ago when they brought the dogs in. They wrote articles about how these dogs and this whole history of the dogs. Like, anybody give a shit?
But this is what's going on in Portland.
Here,
Now,
Mr. Biden, here's a softball.
it's like,
God.
people, look what the media's doing. This is what's going on in Portland. Everybody has, everybody is like so pissed off that, that there's a fence around the Capitol, and they're apparently intending that, something's going to happen, but nothing has happened at the Capitol because you know what? Everybody said their piece. They went home. We went back to work. We live our lives.
Mm-hmm.
And up in Portland, that's not been the case. This has been going on forever.
Yep.
They don't want to cover it because it doesn't fit, it doesn't fit their narrative. So it doesn't matter if Trump is in office or Biden's in office. Antifa is a problem that needs to be addressed by some administration, but yet fail to do it. And now we're seeing that now that there's somebody else in office. So, Biden, fuck the vaccine, fuck wearing 2 masks. What the hell are you going to do about Portland, dude?
That's
Nothing. Not a goddamn thing.
So,
He's a politician.
to continue, rioters gathered to attack the courthouse for weeks during the summer of 2020 and have also marched on Mayor Ted Wheeler's home. City police spent almost $8 million responding to the riots, making over 900 arrests through 120 consecutive days of unrest.
Yep.
120 consecutive days.
Yep.
What's that? Roughly 6 months?
Yep.
360, 120.
360,
Yeah, I guess it's probably about half of
90
360 is
days.
150 is it's maybe 4 months.
4 months.
Yeah,
5
we
months.
are great at math, so
Oops.
we're so good at math. All right, so
And then here
Portland,
in a second, we'll get a comment in the comments.
yeah, they'll tell us exactly how much of a year it is. Hey, it is precisely 43.2% of a year.
Yeah.
Okay, so Portland police announced on Thursday that they were aware of additional demonstrations being planned for this coming weekend.
Shit don't stop.
Yep.
It's not going to.
Does not
until
stop.
somebody has the balls to step up to Antifa. This is just going to keep going on. So, and I feel bad for the people that live in the city of Portland that have to deal with this on a consistent basis.
So we hear about, fires, death, millions upon millions of dollars worth of damage.
Yeah.
Untold other millions of dollars for just the police force and trying to stop these things from happening or at least maintain. But yet we're supposed to be focused on January 6th, that domestic terrorist event in which like a window was broken. There was very minimal damage.
It's been 2 months now?
And we're still hearing about it in mainstream news as if that's a big, huge event. But this has been going on nonstop and it's not being covered.
So we have the National Guard, we have this huge ass fence that surrounds the Capitol. And nothing's going on. It's a ghost town. Troops are being treated like shit by our own government, giving them food that expires. And I mean, come on, man. And then this is going on in Portland.
Making them sleep in parking garages with one freaking outlet to charge their phones and shit.
Which, I mean, I have to, okay, well, hang on a second, because I have to give credit both to the Democrats and Republicans for calling that out, which they did do. They thought that was inappropriate, for them to treat the troops that way.
Yeah, when it was politically expedient for them to do so.
I know. I'm just saying. So, but you have nothing going on at the Capitol. It's a ghost town. You have the military with a presence, but yet all this shit's been going on in Portland and nothing. Nothing. People, this should tell you something.
You have to go look for it yourself if you want to even know what's going on.
I mean, come on, man. The media is only going to put the magnifying glass on wherever it thinks that it's important news. Well, apparently Portland's not important unless they're clashing with, the Proud Boys. So what does that tell you about the Proud Boys? Proud Boys aren't responsible for this shit. Proud Boys aren't inciting this violence. Antifa has and always will be the problem. And that's one of the misconceptions a lot of people have about the Proud Boys is, they're, far right extremists and neo-Nazis and whatever else you guys think that we are. But unfortunately, the narrative's changing, and I'm okay with that.
This is how this even crossed my feed. Was Charlie Kirk says a federal building was lit on fire in Portland last night, but you're not hearing about any insurrection because the perpetrators weren't wearing MAGA hats.
That's right.
Yeah. So, anyway, fun stuff. So, speaking of that, I do want to move right into this next story because they do loosely tie together. One of the things that if you've been paying attention to what's been going on, is that Andy No is one of the guys that's been covering the riots in Portland.
Yeah, the backstory on him is he was the one that was hit upside the head, had that real bad brain bleed from Antifa attacking him, and he was in the hospital for
and he's
a while.
he's just a reporter. He's there to report on what's going on.
Right.
And he ended up getting their bad side. They don't like Andy No. Andy No is not he's not a MAGA hat wearing guy. He's not a Republican. He's very ideologically is much more aligned with the left.
Yeah, and it was the Proud Boys that actually set up a GoFundMe for Andy to pay his medical bills.
Yeah. So with
it
that
was
being
the Proud
said,
Boys doing that, not Antifa.
with that being said, Andy No writes a book on Antifa about what he's experienced and what's been going on down there.
Right.
Well, the banjo player from Mumford and Sons ended up putting out a tweet, basically saying, "Hey, it was a pretty good book, I need to find the original tweet, and I don't suppose they'll have it here. I should have brought up the original tweet, and I apologize for not doing so. If anybody has that link, that would be greatly appreciated. But after the tweet was posted, according to this is from RT.com, Mumford and Sons banjo player apologizes for endorsing Andy No's book, critical of Antifa.
What?
Takes time off band amid backlash.
Takes time off band?
Yeah.
Why in the fuck would you take time off from the band?
Well, here, I'll explain. So he says, as a result of my actions, I am taking time away from the band to examine my blind spots. Please know that I realize how my endorsements have the potential to be viewed as approvals of hateful, divisive behavior. That is the most ironic statement ever because of what Antifa is known for and what they do. But because he's had something positive to say about Andy No, who is writing negative things about Antifa.
Our society is so fucking dumb.
The mob, social media, cancel culture mob decided to go after this guy. Now, what I theorize happened is that after this tweet was out and the mob started coming after him in full force, this banjo player, I forgot what his name was here. It says Winston Marshall. So
he's a fucking pussy is what he is.
Mr. Marshall ended up probably...
He's a weak-ass pussy.
I don't think that's it.
Shit, yeah, it is.
I think that's what a lot of people think it is, but I just
Come on,
hear my
dude.
theory because they
I'm
are
hearing you
okay.
out.
This is where all of our videos that we've been doing about Tom McDonald come into play. They're not independent artists. These are signed artists with a major label, and more than likely, once the mob started coming after him, threatening the potential of new Mumford and Sons record sales.
It wasn't Tom McDonald. It was Ryan Upchurch that made that.
No, that was a different
apologize video.
Yeah,
he was talking about Luke Combs.
No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the difference between an independent artist versus.
Yeah, it was Upchurch's video. He says, "I'm not apologizing because." Have you not watched that video?
Yeah, I watched that one.
That's the one where he said he's not going to apologize like Luke Combs is for the rebel flag.
Yeah.
Because he signed with the label.
Yeah.
So they're passing out pamphlets telling all these artists what to say and get on their social media platforms and say, well, we're not going to, we're sorry for this and sorry for that. And, you shouldn't have to do that. Whereas Upchurch is not going to apologize for who he is and what he believes in. But yet, Upchurch is talking about Luke Combs as having to, they're just puppets being, that the label are pulling the strings and telling them what to do and what to put out. And so, yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
so
I'm just thinking he's the banjo player.
His label probably told him to do this.
Right. Dime a dozen. We can replace a banjo player. We can't replace the lead singers as easily, but a banjo player, we can probably find a banjo player or two to replace you. They probably threatened him or something like that. Said, hey, you know what? This is a violation of the contract because of such and such. Who knows?
He posted his political view.
Who knows what's written? Yeah. Who knows what's written in the contract? And now as a result, you're going to have to go out there and apologize, bud. And
weak ass
he's
bitch.
He's not the principled type and probably not used to this kind of fire coming down upon him. And I guess he did puss out instead of saying, you know what? Screw you guys. I quit the band. You got to sit there and do this shit. I'm out.
No, I don't think he quit the band. I'm saying
instead of saying I'll quit the band.
Oh yeah, you're having that rebel mentality.
He just went ahead and issued the apology, took the hiatus.
Can we pull up that church video and watch it?
So no, I've got a lot more to cover. So now that he can examine his blind spots.
What do you got to do tonight?
I got a lot.
Nothing. It's Friday night.
Got a lot to cover.
We can cover that too.
No, we got 15 minutes, and I got one more article to cover.
No, we don't. We have as long as we want.
I've been meaning to cover for a while. I'm so cynical, I figured Luke apologized for the publicity, and Upchurch refused to for the publicity. Sorry, I missed something. Okay. Oh, it's 4 months. Thanks for that, ladies.
That was like 45 minutes ago.
Yeah, I know. I haven't looked at the comments in a while. Sorry. I've been busy. And you want to bring up an article. And I got to go find it now.
I don't want to bring up an article.
Or a video, I mean.
Yeah, YouTube.
I got to go find it now.
Upchurch.
And now
it's not hard to find. I just want you to watch it to listen because it
say some shit.
It's exactly what we're talking about.
What am I typing in?
You need to watch and just Upchurch.
What am I typing in?
Pull up Upchurch.
All right.
Okay.
Upchurch.
Go to Upchurch page.
Okay. This is great radio.
Okay. Go to his channel.
This one?
Yep.
This is such great radio.
Nope. And I said fuck it. Go to his videos.
Okay.
My apology video right there.
I did watch that.
Then that's what I was explaining.
15 minutes of the video.
I know, it's great.
I'm not watching 15 minutes of video.
This is great.
How much are we watching?
Plus, we can turn this into a reaction video.
That's cute. Listen, I'm not trying to toot my own horn or be that egotistical asshole, but am I the only country singer out here right now that's getting Billboard charting spots that just says what I want to?
But listen to what he says
that,
again.
that doesn't apologize for everything and try to be something I'm not and have a bunch of team members type up this shit and be like, oh, you have to say this, please, because we got to make sure they know you're not racist. Am I the only one out here who has these that just goes with my gut and listens to myself instead of 10 other fucking people?
And that's what like I said, that's what I was that's what I was saying, that he probably ended up getting that message from.
Yeah, I mean, this is what I'm saying. This exactly falls in line to what probably happened with the the bass, or is it a bassist?
Banjo player.
Or banjo player. Yeah. Probably happened with the banjo player. But yeah, it's just.
I wonder how many times
with a bunch of text.
Some people are actually going to step up and put out videos like this, like, I'm going to keep doing what I'm going to do. Fuck y'all. I don't care what you say. Before people start to recognize, oh, the mob's not so scary after all.
In these articles that I've been seeing, there's a few things that don't really sit with me well.
Play a couple more minutes.
What I'm going to do is I am going to point those things out, and we're going to talk about them. Now, before we get started, I am friends with quite a few country singers, and a lot of them have to stay silent. They can't speak their mind because they're within these little cliques and stuck in these cliques, which is fine. I understand if you want to stay silent, but I don't. Since my name was brought up in topic of discussion when all these things hit the internet, I feel like I can kind of say whatever the hell I want. So here we go. First things first. None of this was problematic until there was a problem. I've been preaching unity since day one. And I'm a guy who has the Confederate flag tattooed on me for life.
Yeah, we're going to have to rip that off.
There didn't have to be a video of another country singer saying the N-word for me to preach unity between blacks and whites. If you notice, in mainstream Nashville, there had to be a spike for them to even talk about unity or quote unquote them fixing themselves. You don't have to fix yourself. You can just be who you naturally are. If you're a good person, people are going to know you're a good person. If you're a piece of shit human, people are going to know you're a piece of shit human. It shows throughout the years of you being on the internet every day, day in, day out, your lives, people filming you out in public, whatever the case may be. That's what shows the character of a person. But I've noticed when the shit hits the fan with mainstream Nashville, whether these folks done anything or not, now they're all coming out saying sorry, begging for forgiveness. Please, no, not me. I'm not racist. I swear to God I'm not. Well, if you're not, then people will know. But it looks very suspect when one country singer does something that he shouldn't have done, and then all y'all come out saying sorry for absolutely nothing. You didn't do anything. So why are you saying sorry? Which brings me to my next point. Country music, attitude, outlaws, rebels, leaders, legends, lyrics. The legacy in which country music was built on for so many years is deteriorating because your favorite artists, the biggest ones in the game, are scared. They're outlaw country, but they're being told what to say.
Yep.
They're rebels, but their heart has no rebellious side whatsoever. They speak about true grit, but then they turn around and they're soft and do what they're told. Now look, I'm not saying, oh, well, country music was...
All right, so if you guys want to watch that, you can finish that video up there.
So this kind of falls in line to what we were discussing with, with the banjo player. He was, like Upchurch mentioned, he probably was approached by his label telling him that he needs to come out and denounce or apologize for actually encouraging that this was a good book that was read about Antifa, and how bad Antifa actually is. So it's just, I think the more and more we see independent music artists such as Tom McDonald, Ryan Upchurch, Adam Calhoun, Hobbs. I mean, there's just so many of them right now that are blowing up on the scene because people are getting tired of the way that the labels are controlling this artist. And if you watch further into the video with Upchurch, he goes on to explain that, there's nothing stopping these artists from picking up their phone and connecting with their fans, saying what they really want to say. But because the label has that stranglehold, it's like, are these artists really being who they set out to be? Apparently they're not. So
in the comments, Russ says, here's my problem. We got two stories. One is people trying to destroy a couple white professors for lamenting that blacks have lower performance. And two, we got a white guy preaching unity. Let's get a balanced perspective and hear an actual white advocate, not just white apologists and anti-whites. I'm not really sure what you're actually saying there, quite frankly.
A white Dr. King.
Maybe that's what we need. Maybe that's the move.
We kind of touched on that the other day too.
Yeah,
so.
we just need a white. Yes. Can you imagine how that would play?
Oh my God, I so want that to happen just so it pisses people off.
He would be the most racist motherfucker, nonstop. Okay, so I'm going to hit on this last article here.
And then we got some toys to open up.
This came from Dan in our Discord group. And by the way, we're going to be doing a live, or a private Zoom call after the show. If you guys want to join that,
all four of us,
make sure you join in the comments section below. Sorry, in the description below is the link for our Discord. It'll be announced in the announcements channel, and or you can join our Telegram, and it will be posted in there as well. So, from the New York Times, this link came to me.
New York Times.
Yes, and you know, if you follow the show, how much we absolutely adore the New York Times and their fantastic work in journalism. Exactly.
Yeah.
So this it's an opinion piece.
I want to collapse that bottom part if you can. Thank you.
Sorry. All right, so anyway.
You all right over there?
Opinion piece. Charlie, I was just listening outside, and I was like, oh, wait, I'm still live. I should be, doing something. Do something!
Do something.
All right, so opinion piece. Don't go down the rabbit hole. This is by Charlie Warzel.
Okay.
Critical thinking, as we're taught to do it, isn't helping in the fight against misinformation. He says, don't go down the rabbit hole. Oh, this is so much fun. And this gets better.
Are they saying that's problematic that when you do it?
So, for an academic, Michael Clawfield has an odd request. Stop overthinking what you see online. Mr. Clawfield, a digital literacy expert at Washington State University, Vancouver, knows all too well that at this very moment, more people are fighting for the opportunity to lie to you than at perhaps any other point in human history. Interesting that he is a digital literacy expert and thinks that in this time, people are fighting for the opportunity to lie to you more than perhaps any other point in history. Misinformation rides the greased algorithmic rails of powerful social media platforms and travels at velocities and in volumes that make it nearly impossible to stop. That alone makes information warfare an unfair fight for the average internet user. Now, wasn't it, say, Winston Churchill that said something to the effect of a lie can get halfway around the world before the truth can even get its pants on in the morning?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking Winston Churchill was probably an early internet user, which makes him fall under digital literacy, right? You know, that's probably about the right timeline, right? No.
That's fair to say.
This has not been a problem throughout history. No, not at all. Not at all. I don't know what he's talking about. So, where were we? Where were we? I lost my spot. I'm so good at this. Okay, but Mr. Clawfield argues that the deck is stacked even further against us. That the way we're taught from a young age to evaluate and think critically about information is fundamentally flawed and out of step with the chaos of the current internet. We're taught that in order to protect ourselves from bad information, we need to deeply engage with stuff that washes up in front of us. Mr. Clawfield told me recently he suggested that the dominant model of media literacy, if kids get taught any at all, is that you'll get imperfect information and then use reasoning to fix that somehow. But in reality, that strategy can completely backfire. So have we ever taught people to...
People don't even get past the actual headline of an article without
before
reacting.
Before they react.
Yeah.
Like this whole entire article assumes that even that's happening. People are.
You got to get people just past the headline of an article to even get them to remotely think critically, because everybody's so emotionally driven these days.
Again, trying to solve the problem without actually looking at the root causes of the problem. That's exactly what he's doing here. It's like, okay, well, like you said, people don't even make it past the headline before they react.
That's step one is stop thinking emotionally.
This guy's saying, well, people need to stop thinking so much about it. Yeah. As if everybody's going through and reading the articles and thinking deeply about the article and then making a decision. No,
it's not that you have. It's not happening. I mean, you don't even have to think deeply about an article. Sometimes just ingesting what you're reading and then taking some time to process it, not over analyzing it, but just kind of drawing your own conclusion, because at the end of the day, it's just your opinion of the outcome of what you've just read.
Right.
And it doesn't mean that your opinion's right or wrong. It just means that you're entitled to it. That way you can engage in a conversation with somebody else with a different point of view, which is perfectly fine. And that's kind of the correlation of or actually not even the correlation, but just the fact that we have gotten so ass backwards. You take somebody who's read the headline, that yet somebody who's read the article, and you put them in the same room to have that discussion. One's going to be emotionally charged. The other one's going to be, critically thinking about everything they just had just digest.
It's not even the same discussion at that point.
It's not. And you're trying to, then that's when you're kind of looking at that person like, where in the hell did you arrive with that information?
Right. So in other words, the article goes on, says, resist the lure of rabbit holes in part by reimagining the media literacy for the internet hellscape we occupy. It's often counterproductive to engage directly with content from an unknown source, and people can be led astray by false information. No joke. Influenced by the research of Sam Weinberg, a professor at Stanford, and Sarah McGrew, an assistant professor at the University of Maryland, Mr. Caulfield argued that the best way to learn about a source of information is to leave it and look elsewhere, a concept called lateral reading.
What?
Okay, That's nothing new, and
that's what
go read other sources of information about the topic you're trying to that's not like.
But people don't have.
Is he saying that we're not taught that?
Okay. I understand what the article's about. I really do. I get that. You're missing probably 5 steps before you get to this point. The first step is you need to focus on people that are emotionally charged when you actually post headlines, either for clickbait or for emotional reaction.
Yeah.
That's your first problem that should be addressed before you even get down to the rabbit hole that is this article. We're missing so many elements to this whole situation. We're not even addressing the ones that are the problem. And if you want to get to this point, you got to point those out first before you can tackle anything else.
Oh, this gets even better.
Oh, I'm sure it does.
This gets even better. So, for instance, imagine you were to visit Stormfront, a white supremacist message board, to try to understand racist claims in order to debunk them. Imagine that's how you're going to go about this. Okay.
So we're now tying in race.
No, he's saying
white
just
supremacy.
Imagine you're going to go visit Stormfront. You're trying to understand racists, so you go to Stormfront.
Okay.
So it says, even though you see through the horrible rhetoric, at the end of the day, you gave that place however many minutes of your time. Even with good intentions, you run the risk of misunderstanding something, because Stormfront users are way better at propaganda than you. You won't get less racist reading Stormfront critically, but you might be overloaded by information and overwhelmed.
That kind of falls back to when we had the self-proclaimed racist on our show. I didn't like the conversation. Made me feel very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But I sat, if you go back and you watch that video, probably 95% of that conversation, I didn't have a whole lot to say.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember that. I was very quiet. I was listening. I was absorbing where this individual got his information.
Yeah.
So you need that dialogue. You need that sort of information to understand how people arrive to where they do.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, I understand what they're saying in the article, but you're dismissing thought conversation, and you're also dismissing on how to find ways to tackle these issues, that could be better suited for later on. But you're telling somebody not to read something because of the propaganda.
Yeah.
Well, again, you have to think for yourself. You have to go into that article or whatever it is that you're reading that pertains to race, and you have to think through the lens of somebody that should question everything. You know what I'm saying? So when you start to question everything, well, why do they feel this way? Why do they say this? Why do they say that? What got them to this point? Why do they feel this way? Yes, you're reading the article, you're understanding the viewpoints. I get all that, but those are conversations we have to have. These are articles we need to read in order to better understand, where we want race to go in relations to how we get along with everybody.
There's a reason they say that sunlight is the best disinfectant. You got to bring these ideas out in front. But
yeah, you have to. So
let's continue on here. We got the goal of disinformation is to capture attention, and critical thinking is deep attention. People learn to think critically by focusing on something and contemplating it deeply to follow the information's logic and inconsistencies. The natural human mindset is a liability in an attention economy. It allows grifters, conspiracy theorists, trolls, and savvy attention hijackers to take advantage of us and steal our focus. Quote, whenever you give your attention to a bad actor, you allow them to steal your attention from better treatments of an issue and give them the opportunity to warp your perspective. So he's saying you shouldn't even give these, okay, so we've gone from, you shouldn't give these guys a platform. Like, you don't have racists on your show because that gives them a platform. And now this guy's saying, don't even give them a conversation in private. Don't even give them any of your time. Don't talk to them at all because it's just wasting your time. They're better at this conversation than you are. You're too dumb to, be able to filter out that information yourself. So just don't do that.
Well, I actually remember where somebody in the chats had said that we shouldn't have given that person a platform to talk about racist ideologies.
Right.
No. Yes, we gave them a platform. Did we do it in a way to spread hate? No. We did it in such a way to educate other people that want to understand how people arrive to such a place. That was the concept of the interview that we had. If you go back and watch it, we wanted to know how he got there. He explained
how did you get
here? how he got here. Wasn't to further spread hate. See, this is the misconception with the mainstream media versus people like us is, we want to self-educate not only ourselves but the people who watch, and then yet the media is over here telling us what we should and should not do. We don't tell you guys. We don't tell our viewers what they should or should not do. At the end of the day, if you walked away with a little something, it's at least to think for yourself, but also maybe to get a different perspective in which has not been heard yet. So. Right. I don't know, man. This is a slippery slope, and they got to be careful when you go down.
This is where I started. This is about the part where I started getting really wow.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so one way to combat this dynamic is to change how we teach media literacy. Internet users need to learn that our attention is a sacred commodity, and that is to be spent wisely. So in 2016, Mr. Caulfield went to Mr. Weinberg, who suggested modeling the process after the way professional fact checkers assess information. Professional fact checkers, like the ones you see on Facebook. Keep in mind. Mr. Caulfield refined the practice into 4 simple principles. 1, stop. 2, investigate the source. 3, find better coverage. And 4, trace claims, quotes, and media to the original context.
Well, what is find better coverage? Because everybody has an opinion.
Right.
So is it find better coverage and what's more suitable for your belief?
Yes. So Mr. Caulfield walked me through the process using an Instagram post from Robert F. Kennedy Jr., a prominent anti-vaccine activist, falsely alleging a link between the human papillomavirus vaccine and cancer. Quote, if this is not a claim where I have a depth of understanding, then I want to stop for a second and, before going further, just investigate the source. Mr. Caulfield said. That makes sense. So he copied.
Every source is going to be different.
Well, right. And that makes sense. So who's saying this? I can
agree to an extent, but again,
it's kind of like, you're going online and you see some guy giving dieting advice, and then you look at the guy giving the advice and he's like 500 pounds. And you're like, oh, okay. You don't want to waste time taking diet advice from a 500-pound man. That's just waste of time.
Well, it's like taking
it might be good advice,
marital advice from somebody who's been divorced 4 times.
Right.
To me, this kind of sounds a little like propaganda to me.
Well, that might be more like a what not to do.
Well, yeah, I didn't think about that. No, this to me sounds a little bit like propaganda, because you're telling other people to go here and go there, and then you also are telling people to kind of maybe go listen to their own echo chambers, because they're telling you to outsource other content, other places. Well, to me, it's like you're trying to find something that's more suitable for what your beliefs are. Yeah. And if that's the case, to me, yeah, you're kind of falling into that echo chamber.
Well, here's what he does though. This is okay. So he copied Mr. Kennedy's name in the Instagram post, popped it into Google. There's your first mistake.
Google.
Look how fast this is, he told me as he counted the seconds out loud. In 15 seconds, he navigated to Wikipedia. There's your second mistake, and scrolled through the introductory section of the page, highlighting with his cursor the last sentence, which reads that Mr. Kennedy is an anti-vaccine activist and a conspiracy theorist. So what his suggestion is, okay, you go and you highlight the guy's name, you hop over to Google, you enter it, you go to Wikipedia to see what Wikipedia has to say about the guy, and then you decide whether or not you're going to take that information serious or not. And this is what passes as good critical thinking in the internet age.
Yeah.
Not even close.
Don't Google. Don't go to Wikipedia. Wikipedia is going to tell you that everything is white supremacy, neo-Nazis, far right.
Wikipedia and the original creators of Wikipedia have been at war with social justice mobs for years now.
Yeah. Because
they sit there and they try to put in good information, and then you got the mob coming in and changing it all and voting people out and blocking people, and it's all written by individuals.
Yeah.
And if anybody tries to write something that goes against what the left says, then they are shut out, and you don't get that opinion. A lot of major people that I listen to, you go to their Wikipedia page, and you're like, I have never heard of this guy before. Like, none of what they're saying is true at all. But yet this guy says, oh, well, look, in 15 seconds, I figured out that we shouldn't listen to what Mr. Kennedy says. So it goes on to say, he probed deeper into the method to find better coverage by copying the main claim in Mr. Kennedy's post and pasting that into a Google search. Another mistake. The first 2 results came from the Agence France fact check website, whatever the fuck. His quick searches showed a pattern. Mr. Kennedy's claims were outside the consensus. Okay, so there might have been a time in the world where people's ideas, like, I don't know, slavery, were outside the consensus, which the consensus was, hey, slavery is necessary for an economy to work. The consensus would suggest that slavery is okay. Mm-hmm. If I would have done this exact same search and found out that, well, the consensus says slavery is okay, so therefore Mr. Kennedy must be an idiot not to be listened to. Don't think, people. Don't think. A sign they were motivated by something other than science. So the SIF method and the instructional teaching unit, about 6 hours of classwork that accompanies this, had been picked up by dozens of universities across the country and in some Canadian high schools. This is a problem. This is a problem, that this is what's being taught. And then you wonder why, after a 6-hour class, why people can't fucking think for themselves. So they say a SIFT fact check can and should take just 30, 60, 90 seconds to evaluate a piece of content. So,
wow.
You should be able to do all this in 90 seconds to make a determination. Snap judgment, real quick. Figure out. Filter through the information. Get through it real quick, and then find out. Oh, and how quickly can people go on to a Google search and find an article that agrees with what they already say anyway? Like, what are they? That's what they're going to do anyway. They're just going to go to Google and find an article that.
I just feel like I'm losing brain cells the further I read this article.
Yeah, so the 4 steps are based on the premise that you often make a better decision with less information than you do with more.
What? The 4 steps are based on the premise that you are often making a better decision with less information than you are with more. Also, spending 15 minutes to determine a single fact in order to decipher a tweet. What's that say? Tweet or
also
a piece of news.
A tweet or a piece of news coming from a source you've never seen before will often leave you more confused than you were before. Wait a minute.
First of all, if you're trusting Twitter as your source of information, that's your biggest fucking mistake in the world.
God.
Twitter or Facebook should be the last resort as far as where you get your source of information. The fact that we have to now look at Twitter and Facebook as a source of information is just, oh my God, that makes my head hurt. It makes my head hurt. I ain't gonna lie. Go ahead.
Yeah. So Ross asks, he says, here's a logic puzzle. So I lost 120 pounds 2 years ago. I've regained 80 cents. Am I allowed to give dieting advice?
Yes.
Yes.
But also how you gained it back too.
Of course you're allowed to give dieting advice.
It's the pros and cons of how you lost it and why you gained it.
My point on that was, if you're still hugely overweight, giving diet advice, people are probably smart not to take you that seriously, especially if you've gained back 80 pounds. Probably a good idea not to take you too seriously.
I'm almost 300 pounds.
You've clearly got it figured out. So.
I'll give you some diet advice. Well, I just tell myself to go fishing.
Yep, go fishing.
The walk from the car to the lake is exercise.
So SIFT has its limits as we wrap up here. It's designed for casual news consumers, not experts or those attempting to do deep research. Okay, so casual news consumers, usually, like you said, don't make it past the headline. They're not even going to this level of depth, what he's talking about. And
that's the first step. You got to get a lot of people over that hump first, man. You can't even do that. That's what's wrong with this world right now, dude. I mean, I understand that we're discussing this article, but we can't even get majority of the population to get past the headline. And it's self-evident when you read a post either on CNN or Fox, and you go into the comment section over on Facebook, and you see the emotional charge it leaves after somebody reads the title, and the comment that then there follows. Has nothing that pertains to the article.
How many times do you go through there and go,
holy shit, dude.
How many times do you go through there and you're like, you didn't read the article, did you?
No.
I can tell. You did not read the article.
Here's y'all's homework for today and tomorrow. Go on to CNN or Fox.
Oh, God, no.
Read a headline.
Whoa, no.
Read a headline.
Don't do that homework.
And then don't even read the article. Read the headline. Go into the comment section. Look at the emotional reaction you get. Then go back and read the article.
Oh, dear.
And this is going to this will open your eyes to show you exactly what it is that I'm talking about, what's been going on in our society, why people don't critically think, why people are so emotionally just charged right now and cannot seem to get their shit together. Part of this, what?
Oh, you're presenting it. This has been Anthony's Guide to Critical Thinking. Follow along, folks.
No, I mean, it's the truth, dude. I mean, come on. I see it all the
you're
time.
Right. You're right. But can you imagine if that's how people did their research? They go, okay, read the headline, then go to the comments.
It's like you're predicting what you think the article is going to be about. But unfortunately, a lot of people don't have enough common sense to understand they do it for clickbait. They need the clicks. That's, advertisement. There's so many things that fall in line into, when you read the article or you click on it. And okay, some of you will click on the link. You'll see the top part of the article, you'll read it, and then as you start getting into it and it doesn't really pertain to what the headline says, you lose interest.
Yeah.
Have you ever noticed that with people? Mm-hmm. They don't read the full story because you notice their post doesn't seem to correlate with the end of the story.
Oh yeah, and a lot of times you'll find if you're actually reading the article, they'll hide the information, the information you actually need at the bottom of the article because they know people don't make it down that far. Matter of fact, there's tools I've seen these tools, and I used to have one on one of my old websites. Yeah, it was a free tool, and for the free version, it was decent. But basically, what it did was showed you what percentage of readers made it how far down the page.
Yeah,
and you could tell, okay, well, 20% of the readers only make it down this far, 10% of them make it down. And then, or whatever, and it gets less and less. So where you're like, oh, well, nobody's even reading this part. So that's a good spot to hide the information that I'm, not wanting people to know. But we can say we reported on it,
Yeah, the reasons why I'm so, against this shit, and I'm talking about it, because I used to be that guy. A couple of years ago, I saw an article that was over on Fox. I read the headline. I did not think to read the article. And I made this lengthy, I'll never forget, I made this lengthy post about how I felt about what was said. I looked like a fucking idiot, dude, because there was a lady that came back in the comment section. She was like, "This has got to be the dumbest thing I've ever read." Yeah. And I came back and I said, "Well, what are you talking about?" She was like, "Did you even read the article?" I went back and I read the article and I was like,
at that moment when you,
I felt like a fucking ass. Like, I felt stupid.
Yeah,
I felt like
argue.
a goddamn idiot, and I couldn't. I had no leg to stand on. At that point, I might as well go ahead and delete my comment, because it was the dumbest thing that I ever could have done. And ever since that day, you'll hear me now, I don't read articles, and I'll tell you straight up, I have not read it. I've only read the title, and kind of like before the show tonight, I told you I read a little bit of the thing with the Mumford and Sons. I didn't know if it was the guitar player band. I wasn't sure, so I didn't really say anything. Mm. I wasn't going to sit here and act like I knew what you're talking about, because I really didn't. And that's the other thing that kind of pisses me off, is you get these people who play along like they know what they're talking about.
Oh, I love it.
And they don't have a fucking clue. Just be honest. If you haven't read the article, that's fine. I'm not going to judge you one way or the other. But don't sit there and pretend like you know what you're talking about when clearly you have no idea.
So I happen to know a couple bullshit artists, for lack of a better term,
okay,
who will sit there and they act like they know everything. And I will purposely test them to see. I'll just make up some shit that I know for a fact is 100% wrong.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, "Oh yeah, I know all about that," and just agreeing with me, like wholesale, taking it all. And I'm like, "You're a fucking idiot, and you're playing like everybody else, like everybody else believes you," and that's really, it's kind of messed up. But
well, I'm also talking about the ones that just kind of proofread the article but don't really actually take the time to read it, to understand it. They just kind of skim over it.
Talking about the skimmers and the speed readers.
Yeah, and then when hey, did you happen to read it? Oh, yeah, I read that. And I start talking about it, and they're like, they don't have anything to say. And I ask them, like, did you actually read the article? Well, no, I just kind of skimmed over it. You need to go back and read the article.
I'll try again.
If it wasn't for my situation, that wouldn't have altered my thought process as far as my emotional reaction to headlines. And the way I publicly posted something, and I probably looked like a fucking idiot to a lot of people, and this woman just happened to call me out on it.
Yeah.
And it was a lesson learned, So
what do a lot of other people do in that situation? They'll go back and try to double down. They'll try to go back and then
because they don't want to admit that they're wrong.
This time they'll go back and read the article, but they'll try to twist it in such a way just to make it look like, well,
they want to conform it to their opinion.
I was correct, and here's my supporting evidence based on the article that I clearly didn't read.
It makes you look even dumber when you do that.
Yeah.
It makes you look really fucking stupid.
Yeah. I mean, I have a lot of respect for people that are like, yeah, I don't know. I screwed up. I made a mistake. I was wrong. That's become,
it's okay.
That's become a rare commodity nowadays.
Yeah.
Like finding people that are okay with admitting wrongdoing, or admitting that maybe there was a flaw in their logic somewhere.
And I think that's one of the reasons why people have lost a lot of respect for one another. People don't do that anymore.
Yeah, I'm losing respect for you right now. I mean, just like the whole time, you haven't admitted that you. I'm done. There was no punchline there. I was just trying to find something funny to say, and it just did not come to me like it normally does.
We got toys to open.
Let's open toys.
Fuck yeah! Grab your.
We're gonna do
Mrs. Potato Head. Man.
We're gonna do a Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head unboxing.
Yes.
Unboxing. This feels dirty.
Mr. Potato Head Hasbro has been. Never was.
Wait. Here we go. Before we move on, Ross, I like this. Gug Brain. I don't read the article. Smart. I read the headline. Super smart. I read half the article. Genius says I read the whole article, or I read the whole article. Enlightened. I didn't read the article. Well done. All right. So let's see what we got in here. Oh, because these are like banned in like 50 states right now. You guys don't even know that yet. But
now,
you can't even buy these boxes anymore that have Mrs. and Mr. These are like art like what's
now
let's almost, aren't they?
Now let's look at this right here. You can't tell if this is a guy or girl.
No,
right?
I got the Mrs. I can tell. There's holes everywhere. Look.
Well, mine does too.
They must have that mispick.
So
you probably got a flawed.
Here's the thing.
No,
They're
you
talking
got-
about
you got one of
gender
the-
neutral, right? That was the whole premise behind
dude,
Mr.
you got,
Potato Head.
You got a Mrs. Potato Head. Give me that.
No, I don't.
Yeah, you did. That's a Mrs. Potato Head. I can tell. Look, it's got
No.
all the holes on it.
Huh?
It's got all the holes on it. The guy at the manufacturing plant did a mispick, clearly. He didn't put the one with the penis on it.
Well, if that can stick in there a certain way.
That doesn't fit in there.
No, it doesn't.
Wait, now is it considered? Is it considered?
Damn it! You interrupted me, and I can't remember what I was going to say, fucker.
Is it considered rape if you're just without the consent of this small plastic toy?
Wait a minute. Is that the front? Because
That's the
a
back.
beer belly.
That's the
Oh,
butt. That's
shit.
where you hide the. This is where I learned my trick of hiding things in my rear end.
Oh shit! Oh wow!
Yeah.
I never knew.
You remember when we gave the obituary for Mr. Potato Head, and
Yeah.
I said that he taught me how to hide women's clothing in my rear end?
I don't remember that part.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking
Okay.
about.
So
These
obviously,
feet don't fit. This is bullshit.
we don't know.
Wait, why does this
What
one got
race?
yellow feet? Why does Mrs. Potato Head got yellow feet?
I don't know, dude.
I'm kind of pissed right now.
That should go there.
But yeah, seriously, is this considered like sexual assault if you don't have the consent of the toy before you
Is that
start
where
sticking
his
things in all the
eyes
orifices?
go? Right there. I never. Because you got to remember, the original Mr.
Yeah.
Potato Head was a real potato, and the parts that you used to put into potato were sharp.
Yeah, these things
These
were like
were, like,
really
real
sharp.
sharp,
You actually
yeah.
like little spikes. You had to actually
There you go.
stick them in there. That's perfect. No, that's his balls, dude. That's his balls. That you did get the Mr. Potato Head. That's his balls.
Wow.
Show the camera.
Hey, Google eyes.
He's got low hanging balls.
Okay.
See, I got
So he got
some
his balls.
I got some pretty. Is that sexist that the lips have? I think that might be sexist.
No, this needs to be like his wiener look.
Yes.
So what we
Wait,
need to
I got
do
two
is-
I got two wieners.
What we need to do is put his eyes back up there,
No, I got two wieners right
and
here.
then he's got a wiener. Look at there.
I like. Yeah.
No, they don't look right.
That's yeah. I got two wieners.
Okay.
See, and they both fit. Look how perfect they fit. I got two wieners. I love it.
Why is it so hard? To
I love
go in there. Okay.
Oh, you got tiny holes. You must have got the kids version.
Well, it says that he has a mustache.
That was a pedophile joke, Anthony. Come on, man.
That's gross, dude. So okay.
Wait,
let's
what's
see
this
how
hole in the
that-
bottom of his feet? Her. I am misgendering this thing all day.
Okay.
Mrs. Potato Head's basically like a Karen. She's got her nice little visor hat. She doesn't even get a full baseball cap.
He's gonna get look at that porn stash.
He's got a
That's a
porn stash.
Ron Jeremy porn stash.
I love it. I love
Look
it.
at
Fantastic.
Look.
All
Okay,
right, help
so
me out here. Where else am I? Turn the hands around and it can be a vagina. Wait, turn the hands around and it can be a vagina?
I didn't know that.
Wait, really?
What is this? His smile?
I don't understand.
I don't.
I don't understand. Puddin', you're gonna have to help me out here.
Okay, that's not making any damn sense. Why is this not working?
What's that? That's his nose.
Nah, I know it's his nose,
Is
but
his
it's
nose
like
not going in?
His mouth's not going on there like it should.
Yeah, that's because, there we go. I got it. Mine's done.
That's
done.
it?
Yeah. See, and because it's a nice lime green hat, it has our logo right on it. Looks like green screen.
That bitch.
Ross said absolute degeneracy. All right. So, you guys been watching the
Hang on a second, dude. I ain't done.
Oh, sorry. Excuse me.
Jesus Christ.
He's a slow-mo unboxer. I'm sorry. Never trust Anthony to do an unboxing video because you'll be sitting
is
there
the
for
thing?
hours.
I don't know. Oh, pink or the
Oh, you got to
ears.
attach everything?
Yeah. There we go. He's got a hat on his back. Man, you were about to wrap up the damn show with me still doing. Wait a minute. His ears don't.
You need to come on now. Look at these. Hey, we're going to be auctioning these boxes off. Just the boxes to help support the show.
No, man.
That
They're
has
my
the
gifts.
Mrs. Potato Head. Well, I mean, I'm sure if the auction brings in enough, you're gonna sell.
Buy some more Bitcoin.
Yeah. Buy Bitcoin. All right, Mr. Degenerate, you done yet? I don't even know where the nose goes at this point.
There's my.
I filled up all her holes
Look
with
at him.
everything. Oh,
He's
that's
got
cute.
his hat on backwards. He's got a frowny face because they're taking his Mister away from his title. Look at there.
Here, this feels like.
You got an ass. Look at that ass.
Here.
Twerk it, baby. Twerk.
Hey, girl.
Wow, we really just did that with a couple of toys.
Yeah. Now, don't be a liar. You know damn well you did that shit when you were like 6.
Oh, hell no, dude. Not with Mr. Potato. Now with Barbie and Ken. Fuck yeah.
Oh, it was on.
It was on in the
It was
Barbie
on.
house.
All right, can I wrap up now and let people hop into the private Zoom call?
Yeah, I don't care.
All right, so you guys have been watching the Unframe of Mind show, where we have the very highbrow ideals and lowbrow packaging, clearly.
Bye, guys.
I've been your host, Daniel Wagner.
Hey, Anthony Trewick.
And we will see you guys next week.
See you on the flip side. Peace.
And I can't find my button. Oh my God,
Not the first time.
potato porn. Ew.